I think it's been a story of positive, positive, positive where Tillman is concerned. And he needed that move, really, because I'm not going to say his career was going nowhere at Bayern. That wouldn't be true. He had made a handful of appearances, but certainly was not close to being a regular. But he did need to be playing somewhere. And I think his eyes lit up at the idea of going to Scotland, of playing for a club for whom it really matters, for whom there is a capacity crowd pretty much all the time. And you have this kind of daily goldfish bowl interest. I think that appealed to him as well. And it's worked out fabulously, you'd have to say. Now, I talk a lot to American fans who obviously are quite interested in his progress as well. And I think they all feel it has been a positive. So from that angle, yeah, really good. The Bayern angle is an interesting one because, as I said earlier, he was on the periphery at Bayern. He was getting a look in once in a while. He's only made, 4 Bundesliga appearances. So that does tell you the story, even though he's still relatively young. But the fact of the matter is that if you're a young player at Bayern and you're 20 and you haven't quite made that breakthrough, there aren't too many who then go on to become regulars. So I think he's similar to many other young players who've come through the Bayern setup at the moment. He's at a bit of a crossroads. Does his career progress somewhere else, like Rangers, or at a different club? You never know about that. Or, do Bayern have the patience to say, yeah, let's renew and see what happens in 2 or 3 years? My own feeling is that at the moment, there's a bit of a traffic jam. And, I'll just name a few players for you. Jamal Musiala, maybe the best in his position anywhere in the world, certainly in the top 2 or 3. Leroy Sané, who everybody will be familiar with, who's having a terrific time of it. Kingsley Coman, who was their match winner this past weekend against Wolfsburg. And we haven't even mentioned Serge Gnabry, who doesn't always get into the team, and Thomas Müller, who's now in the autumn of his career, but a senior statesman there. And so how do you get into a team like that ahead of that aforementioned list? It's difficult. So I would think the future for Tillman is probably not at Bayern, but that doesn't mean that Bayern are going to completely give up on him in the next few months.
When you've been in Germany, has there been any talk around sort of Bayern about, does he even register what he's doing in Scotland, or is it kind of, well, it's Rangers, it's Scottish football, or is he making an impression?
I think it would be fair to say that most Bayern fans, most fans of German football, are not focused on the day-to-day happenings in Scotland. Some of us are individually, but I think, collectively, it wouldn't be where most people would look. If it were the Premier League in England, maybe a little bit more, because that is a lot more on the radar. There is coverage of Scottish football, but it's not front and centre. So I think there's an awareness of what Tillman is doing. But again, he's not really part of the conversation on a massive scale at the moment in terms of, Hasan Salihamidzic, who's the sporting director, is he going to, make a deal with Tillman? Because, of course, there was talk when the deal with Rangers was done that it was a loan deal with a buy option, but that Bayern also had this buyback option as part of it. It's never really come out exactly what that would amount to, what the figure would be for that. But no, I think if we're being honest, he's slightly out of sight, out of mind.